All right, I've talked about this in other videos, but it's getting to the point where it is so important right now, I think that it's necessary to make a dedicated video just about this. It is essential that as soon as possible, you get rid of 100% of adjustable rate debt. Many people right now are saying get debt free and start saving cash because there's going to be a crash. We're not discussing that. I've got my own opinions about that. But what is absolutely certain right now is that it is imperative right now to get rid of 100% of adjustable rate debt. Why is that? Well, mainly because of inflation. Now, over the last decade or so, the real rate of inflation, most people know, has been higher than what the official rate of inflation has been. However, most lenders were still willing to lend at rates that were well below what people could use that money for to make money, what they could invest that money in. Now, that's never been the case for something like credit cards. Adjustable rate debt is always dangerous when you're moving into a time period of higher inflation. And that is exactly what we are experiencing right now. As lenders are looking around and they're saying, if I give you $100 and you give me back $110, but when I go to spend that $110, by the time you give it back, what I was going to spend it on has gone from $100 to $120, they lost money. Doesn't matter if they made a nominal return, the actual number went from 1 to 110. What matters is the real return. You have to adjust that for inflation, and they lost money then. They lost purchasing power. Lenders are going to be increasingly catching on to this, especially for debt like credit cards, where they can change the rates very quickly and where it's not collateralized, where there's nothing backing it up like a car or a property that they could repossess. So things like credit card debt, absolutely essential to get rid of that as fast as possible because the interest rates are going up. And they're going up quickly, and they will continue to do so along with inflation. There's virtually no chance that you are going to be able to buy something with a credit card and make more money on that than what you will spend in interest. And so there's a big difference between paying off the balance every single month, never carrying a balance, never paying interest. There's a big difference between that, just using it to pay your bills, versus carrying a balance, carrying a revolving balance and paying interest on that every single month, because that interest rate will start changing it. They have already started changing. The interest rates on credit cards have been increasing, and they will do so continuing into the future every month, where we get higher and higher inflation ratings. And every single month that happens, lenders are going to be looking and saying the chances that this inflation goes away soon is getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And so they'll be raising rates faster and faster and faster so that they don't get the short end of the stick. Now, it's very different than fixed rate debt. Like I said, I've got my own different opinions about fixed rate debt, because fixed rate debt is locking in an amount that you owe, a principal plus interest. Inflation doesn't change that. If it's a fixed rate loan, the lender can't go in and say, well, it was 4%, but now we're going to charge you 6%. That's adjustable. Fixed, you cannot do that. So that's why fixed rate debt is going up as well right now, because lenders are saying, hey, if I'm going to be locked into this loan for 5 years, 10 years, 30 years, we want to make sure that over the long haul, we're not losing purchasing power. And the reason why fixed rate debt hasn't shot up to be above the inflation rate is because lenders still believe the Federal Reserve will be able to get a hand on inflation. So if the loan is 10 years long, and let's say it's an interest rate of 10%, or no, let's say the interest rate is 7%, but inflation is 8%, the lender is looking at that and saying, yeah, for the first year, maybe the second year we might lose money, but over the lifetime of the loan, interest rates are going to come, or not interest rates, inflation. The inflation rate is going to come down. And so inflation rate in 3 years, 4 years, 5 years might be back down to 4% or 3%. So they're saying over the lifetime of a 10-year loan, we're going to still make money on a 7% interest rate, even if it's fixed. Now, I disagree with that. I think inflation is going to continue higher. And over the next couple of years, I think we actually are going to be at risk of hyperinflation, in which case lending will completely dry up. But for the time being, it is absolutely imperative that you get rid of adjustable rate as fast as possible. And now I know everybody who's been around the channel for a long time, I look at as many comments as I can. I don't think there are probably any of you that have large revolving balances on credit cards. I look at the comments and most of you are debt free. Most of you have savings. Most of you are invested in gold and silver and Bitcoin and stocks and real estate, and you're doing things the right way. But just in case, if there's anybody out there who is looking at this, if you know anybody, you want to send them this video who is thinking like right now is a good time to carry a credit card balance. Right now is probably the worst time in decades to carry a credit card balance because interest rates are going to be moving up, and that makes it harder and harder to pay off that debt. As interest rates go up, obviously the minimum payment and the total amount you're gonna how long it takes you to be able to pay off that total amount, because more and more is going towards interest, it's going to outpace inflation. So even if you're increasing your own income, very little chance that you're going to be able to, it'll be very difficult to increase your income enough to offset how much you're going to owe on that debt. So public service announcement: as soon as possible, as fast as possible, pay off that adjustable rate debt, and share this with anybody you know that has adjustable rate debt and doesn't quite have the the reasoning yet on maybe why they should get rid of that and make that their top priority before you do investing or anything like that. Thank you so much for watching. As always, you guys have a great day.